This story starts with Yukito getting hit with something he never expected. His childhood friend suddenly announces that she's dating a senpai. Yukito is completely shocked. They've known each other since kindergarten, and to him, she was always someone incredibly special. He had also noticed the feelings she seemed to have for him, so hearing that she's with someone else completely breaks his understanding of their relationship. Instead of confronting her, Yukito runs away. Something inside him seems to break once again. Then the story jumps forward to high school. Yukito has already decided what kind of life he wants to live. He doesn't want attention. He doesn't want friends. And most importantly, he doesn't want to get involved with anyone. He believes your first impression determines your entire high school experience, so instead of trying to become popular, he decides to make himself completely forgettable. But his introduction goes horribly wrong. When it's his turn to introduce himself, Yukito casually announces that he's quitting school. Everyone is stunned. He then explains that he's Yukito, someone who plans to be a gloomy loner. He'll mostly pretend to sleep, doesn't mind being ignored, and basically wants everyone to treat him like air. His classmates are completely speechless, and Yukito is actually happy about it. He thinks his plan worked perfectly, but his teacher isn't having it. She notices that something is clearly wrong with him and offers to listen if he ever wants to talk. Yukito refuses and casually says that wasting his high school life isn't the only thing he's wasted. Even his teacher is left wondering what happened to this kid. Later, his classmates organize a karaoke gathering to get everyone acquainted. At first, Yukito refuses, but when he sees who's attending, his expression changes. His childhood friend is there, and so is his ex-girlfriend. The two people he wants to stay away from the most are suddenly back in his life. Yukito decides that staying away from them is the safest option. Meanwhile, at the karaoke gathering, his classmates start talking about him. Some think he's strange. Others think he's actually interesting. Then someone brings up Yukito's past. One of the students used to play basketball against him in middle school. And that's when we learn that Yukito wasn't always this gloomy. Back then, he was completely different. He was passionate about basketball and worked harder than everyone else. His determination even changed the entire atmosphere of his club. People around him started taking the sport seriously because of him. He had the ability to motivate everyone just through his actions. But while Yukito was giving everything to basketball, something was happening in his personal life. His ex-girlfriend reveals that she had started developing feelings for him back then, but she was confused about those feelings. And eventually, she made a decision that she now deeply regrets. She believes that her actions betrayed Yukito and destroyed everything he had worked so hard for. She also believes that she's one of the main reasons Yukito became the person he is today. Then Yukito's childhood friend and his ex-girlfriend come face to face. The tension between them becomes obvious. Both of them seem to believe the other person is responsible for Yukito's suffering. Before things can get even worse, someone stops them. But the damage is already clear. Both girls want to reconnect with Yukito, yet neither of them seems to understand how deeply their past actions affected him. Then we get another interesting side of the story. Yukito returns home, where his older sister confronts him about his bizarre introduction at school. She basically puts him on trial. Yukito tries to avoid answering her questions, but his sister immediately notices that something is wrong. She asks if this is because of his childhood friend and his ex. Yukito refuses to answer, but his sister already knows. Later, we finally see her true feelings. Despite how cold she acts toward Yukito, she actually cares about him deeply. She remembers how much he changed after everything that happened. She wanted her little brother to have a normal and happy high school life. Instead, he's starting over with the exact same emotional wounds. She blames the two girls for what happened to him, but she also blames herself. She knows their relationship isn't normal anymore. Yukito is uncomfortable around her, rarely talks to her, and seems afraid of her. Yet she still wants to protect him. And that's where the story gets interesting, because Yukito's life isn't simply about a guy getting rejected by a girl. He seems to have lost his trust in people completely. Every important girl who once mattered to him ended up hurting him in some way. Now those girls are trying to come back into his life and fix their mistakes. But the problem is, Yukito isn't the same person anymore. He has already convinced himself that being alone is safer than getting close to anyone. And honestly, that's what makes this manga interesting. The main character isn't just acting gloomy for the sake of being edgy. There's an actual reason behind the way he behaves. His past has changed the way he sees relationships, friendship, and even himself. The girls may genuinely regret what they did, but getting Yukito to trust them again isn't going to be easy. Overall, I'd say this is actually a pretty interesting read. Yukito's life is completely messed up, but the story does a good job of slowly showing us why he became this way. The biggest question now is whether these girls can actually make things right, or whether they've already hurt him too much to ever get him back.